Okay, just a moment here. Popping out the chat. And going up to there. And hello. Welcome to the show. Yep, I'm being stared at already by little ninja cats. Ball. Yeah. Typical. Just typical. Go figure. So, tonight, the plan is that I will be making a ballista, where the trebuchet is a counterweight system catapult type. The ballista is, of course, a giant crossbow. By the way, if you're here, but I'm gonna put you down, little fussbutt. You understand me? Yeah. You're just getting heavy. Unclaw, thank you. Down you go, little buddy. Anyway, if you're here after the fact, don't forget to hold like and subscribe and the bell icon, the usual bit. Anycubic Photon does amazing work for miniatures. But it's going to be similar to what I did with the Ballista, in that it's going to be, making the base geometry in 3D Studio Max, and then bringing it into ZBrush to actually, detail it and breathe it alive. So anyway, I'm just gonna wait for a little bit until I have a couple people sitting here and watching in the chat. Which, come to think of it, you can't see the chat after the fact, can you? That's not cool. Anyway, I need to make one check real quick. No, I don't need to see traffic conditions in my neighborhood, please. I'm not going anywhere. Just gonna check to see if no messages yet. Oh well. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead while we're waiting on people to show up. I'm gonna copy the link and I'm gonna go post it a couple places. Just let people know that I am live. There is a show tonight. Yay! And then up here to self-promo. A show about a ballista. Same link as Sunday. And then let's see if we got anybody in. Ballista time. And that should do it. Okay, now. The biggest difference between a ballista and a crossbow, besides size, of course, is the simple fact that a ballista doesn't use springiness of the arms to fire. Instead, it uses the springiness of ropes, tied as almost like springs. When you pull the arms of the ballista back, it tightens the ropes and adds force. When you release the lever on the over the string, those ropes revert back, firing off your projectile. So, of course, they don't fire arrows. They fire basically large javelins. Also, ballista tend to be mounted more on like castle walls for defense against incoming siege, where trebuchets are used to assault castle walls. You won't find a trebuchet or catapult on the parapets of a castle. You will find them attacking the castle. You'll find ballista at like guard towers. And again, probably currently the most famous light ballista would be the four-armed one used to shoot down Smaug in the mediocre at best Ralph? The mediocre at best Hobbit movie. Yeah. Yes. Early. Alright, come on, little buddy. Gotta get you up. Come on, get up. Get up, little buddy. Up. Get on. No, don't get on me. Get down. 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 Yes, you. So anyway, what we're going to be making is a mid-size, not a small one like in Desolation of Smaug, and not a ginormous one like would be. We're going to make one that's mid-sized, about a 3-man crew. So feral. Can I put you down now? Ralph, down! Down! Ralph? No. Ah. Down. Go on. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to... I've got the basic scale for the orcs loaded into 3D Studio Max. So here we have my orc. Now we want the ballista to be about the height of the orc, but a good bit longer. We also don't want the orc center. We want to move him off center. Step 1. We need the the core of the ballista. Box. About here. And now we're going to center it. And let's lower it to about here. Now we're going to need to add in some lengthwise. One. Oh. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Edible poly. And what we're going to do is going to bring this in a bit. Then I'm going to add in here. Now, I'm going to grab these vertexes, but not this one, or these. And we're going to bring them down to about there. This will be the groove that the javelin sits in. Now, loop, and then we're going to click here and here. Chamfer 0.001. Okay, and then we're going to make sure. Okay, that's good. That's all we need. Now, make smooth. 1, 2. Okay, it's not smooth, that's not sharp enough. Edit. Undo chamfer. So what we're going to do, right now the chamfer is at 0.001. We're going to make it 2. Now, mesh smooth. Wait, no, before we do that, one other thing. Select here and here. Connect 2. That way, we have a bit more. Yeah, there we go. And here we go. We have our central log, so to speak. Collapse all. Now, what's going to end up happening is we're going to make it perfectly horizontal, and once we've got it mapped and detailed and textured, we're going to tilt it so it's resting on the ground and aiming kinda up. Now, next thing we're going to do is we need to put some clamps on. Well, no, first we need to put on the side here. We're going to make a helix. And this helix is going to be slightly taller than the bar. Okay, and it's going to go right here. And what's going to happen? There. About there. Now we're going to go to rendering. Enable in viewport. We're going to make it a bit thicker. And we're going to start adding in more turns until it becomes mostly solid. Actually, no, we need to make it smaller than this, so fewer turns. That's what we need to do, is we need to have this. Yeah, that's how it's going to be. We need to shrink this in height. It's on top and bottom. Reduce the number of turns until it's okay. Let's reduce the thickness. There. Now we need to bring it in just a little bit. Let's pull that in so it's also up against the. There. Okay. And then we're going to convert to editable poly and zoom in. Now what's going to happen? We're going to select. Oh, I see. Let's select right here. Deselect here. And deselect here. Now we're going to shrink and delete I'll explain why in just a second. We're getting rid of the end caps on these loops, basically. And then click there and delete. Now zoom out all the way again. I'm going to select both edges. You see, the end caps that were made by that automatic method were what are called n-gons. They have too many sides to be a valid segment. So we're going to take these. Since we have them selected, when we go to edge selection, it stays. We're going to chamfer 0.001. Okay. Then we're going back, because right now it's going to select just the edges. We're going to shrink 99.5. Okay. And then we're going to go back and chamfer 0.001. Okay. And then we're going to select those edges again, but now notice that it's only those edges. And we're going to collapse. Yay! And the result is we now have this loop. We can mesh smooth it. And we have a nice even polygon cap on these loops. Now we need to move them into position. We also need to change their color so that they're easier to see. Let's bring that up to the bright yellow. In the same way, we're going to move this away from the dark green and make it more of a like peach, because that looks kind of like wood. I'm going to bring it to there and there. Okay. Now we're going to take and attach both of these, and we're going to then move the pivot to 0 on the X, because we're not going to mirror it. Instead, we're going to go ahead, we're going to make a clone. Oh, I forgot to do that. There we go. We're going to make a clone at 180 degrees. That way, instead of being a mirror image, it's rotated so that they're still going in the same direction. Now, we're going to make a cylinder, and we're going to cheat reality. Okay? And by that, I mean what we're going to do is we're going to have it overlapping the rope. The idea being is this is the pivot point. We also need to find out, by hitting Effect Pivot Point Center, we can get the exact center of the coil, and we can move this into place. Right, the center's at -9.183, -9.183. This is on Y, -41.245, -41.145. So we make that -2.5. There we go. And now we're going to make it a little bit bigger, because we want it to actually kind of start to overlap the we want it to be at not only at halfway on the rope, a little bit past that, we want it to start to overlap into the body of the ballista, so that it's going to merge into one solid object when we're done. Now it's editable poly. We're going to select these two edges here, top and bottom. Loop, chamfer 0.01. There. Anyway, then we're going to bring the whole thing down a bit because it's going to go through the arm, the braces we're going to be putting on top, and we're then going to stretch up. Okay, now mesh smooth 1, 2, collapse all, and it's not overlapping. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to click that, delete. We're going to select both of these, and we're going to move them over ever so slightly, once again, to get this overlap, to make it a solid piece. Now we're going to go here. Actually, let's go ahead and attach that. And we're then going to affect pivot only to 0 and mirror. No, not mirror, rotate 180. There we go. Alright. That's the ropes that are the springs, and you can see they're all going in the same direction. Really? Oh no, they really shouldn't. They should be going in opposite directions because that wouldn't work. So yes, this is one of the rare times where I really do want to mirror. Copy. Reset transform. And normal. Collapse all. There we go. Now, the next thing, excuse me, next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the brace on the front. Now, there's going to be 2 boxes on this, one above, one below, that will be adhered to this. Actually, let's go ahead and select both of these and slide them back a little bit, just a little, just for style's sake. And we're going to a box. And we're going to click on it and bring it over just a little about there. And we got an ugly color for it, so let's go ahead and change that color also to that kind of pale yellowy color. Editable poly. We're going to select here, and that's negative 13.673, so this one goes to positive 13.673. And now let's see. I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and make it a little bit broader this way, and a bit taller this way. Yeah, that'll look good. Now we select this and attach this, and then we're going to delete it. Or not delete, but detach it. The reason why we're detaching it, this now gives us its center. See, the center didn't move, and we're going to mirror on the y-axis. Reset selected, normal, collapse all, and then we're going to attach together just so that we can make sure we do what we do to both. Now the top, we're going to connect 2, 3, and then we're going to shrink it down to about there. Actually, let's go ahead and select the one in the center, and we're going to chamfer it. Yeah, about there. And then going to select these vertexes and bring them up to about there, so that they're the hole that the shaft goes through on that top side. Now we're going to select here and then here, and chamfer 0.01. 2. Okay. Now, here and here, we're going to connect only 2, but we're going to make it a wide 2. Almost 90. And then here, we're going to connect, because they have twice the space, 95 is closer to what we want. Now, when we mesh smooth this, oh yeah, that's a problem. Gotta go back to and undo chamfer. There we go. Because we got to do this. Yeah. Chamfer. Okay. And now we got to go in and once again connect to 95. Okay. And then we're going to select here and connect to 90. Okay. And mesh smooth once. Okay, there we go. No. No. Undo connect edges. Undo connect edges. Undo connect edges. Undo select. Undo select. Undo chamfer. There we go. Yeah. There we go. And then what in the... Oh, dadgummit. That's what was causing that. Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. There. Connect to 90. Okay. Select here. Connect to 95. Okay, now mesh smooth 1, 2. There we go. That is the top frame for the front end of the ballista. And now we make the arms. Okay, so collapse all. The arms of the ballista will basically be in universe physically attached to these little pivot points here, these things, but model wise they'll be attached to that entire thing. So we're going to start off with a box. This box is going to start here. Let's see. No, we need to bring it out and okay. Make the width a little bit less and the length a little bit less because we'll be working out from there. Okay. Now okay, got edible poly. Alright, this effect pivot center to object. The center of it is Y is 32.284, 32.284, because we want to kind of have it centered on the shaft. Other than that, we don't need to worry about the rest of these. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to grab it, we're going to drag it over to about there. How does this correlate? Yeah, that's good. Now it's a little bit too long, actually. To about there. And we're then going to select here, connect and bring here, and then select there, extrude, and bring it down a little bit. A little bit more. There. Now, select there and bring it up. Now connect, we're going to connect these, go over down to there. Chamfer. Okay, it's good. We're now going to go ahead, I'm going to tweak some of these levels here. We're going to Y scale it to 0 because we want those even and flat. And then we select here and come down. And I'm going to grab here and come back, because what we're getting ready to make is where the rope for the ballista attaches to this arm. And hello, Robin. Yeah, it's better late than never, yeah. As you can see, we are working on a very simple ballista. We're going to be adding details to it to make it more orky as time goes on, like some kind of skull over the front head, things added on, etc. Now, actually, we're going to do the looping around here in ZBrush. Now, what we can do is rotate this back up there. Well, let's see. There's the tail end of it. Yeah, about there. And then we're going to, yeah, let's select all of those. Let's select all of it. A. We're going to chamfer it. 0.001 and then 2. Now we're going to select here, and we're going to add in 2 separate them a bit to get them kind of tight up against there. That'll give it a nice straight look. Then we mesh smooth 1, 2, collapse all. Then we go in here to effect pivot and F12, move that pivot to 0. Then mirror. On the X, reset selected, and as you've seen before, that causes it to go negative. That's not cool. So we hit normal again. Oh no, not taper, normal. There we go. collapse all. And right now this is the current state before any detailing, before the wheels. It's going to have a couple of front wheels. Before the rope, etc., etc. Now what we're going to do for the rope is very simple. We're going to line. We're going to draw from here to here to there. And we're then going to kind of move it to start inside there. And then move back to there. And then this way. And then we put this at an x of 0. It's currently interpolating at a thickness. Let's make it straight up thickness of 1. And convert it to edible poly. Then effect pivot, move the pivot to 0, mirror, copy, reset selected, and normal, collapse all. Select here, attach here. Then we're going to select down here, Z. Okay. Select, shrink, X scale of 0. And then we're going to delete those vertexes. Select them again. X scale of 0. And there. Now weld. Bing. So that's where the rope for the thing is going to attach to the arms. Actually, we can go ahead and we can afford to make it a little bit thicker because that'll be a little bit difficult to print on FDM. So let's go to push. We're gonna push it. Push it real good. Bum 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 bum. Okay. Collapse all. Now we're going to select that back there, and we're going to chamfer it to make it a bit curvy. No. No. And we're going to drag it back just a little bit here. We want it to be behind. There's going to be like a latch we're going to have over the back of it. Yes, a lot of this is going to be, a lot of this end is going to be doing the modeling before we actually bring it in. And we're going to bring that inside the arm. Then we're going to deselect the ones inside the arm and control backspace to remove those extras. Now let's just go ahead and give it a mesh smooth. And like I said, we're going to be having the wrap around the arms and the knot done in ZBrush, because I've got special tools for it in there. Now, the next major pieces of construction will be the axles and wheels. Then it'll be detailing like the brackets for the firing. Basically, it's like they're just going to have like a little lever that, you know, they lower it down when it's pulled back, and then they pull the lever and it poing. Yeah. No, Ralph. No, fuzzball. Go. Shoot. Okay. So for the wheels, what we're going to do is we're going to have a rod coming down from just behind the, not rod, but like a box coming down back here. And that's going to be right here. And we convert it edible poly. Now, let me go ahead and go underneath so we can see it a little bit better down here. Yeah, it's currently blue. And what we need to do is we need to make these vertex, no, not these vertexes are currently have an x of negative 4.9. Let's make that 4.9. So we need to make the ones in the center have an x of positive 4.9. There. It now fills across the side. We just select them all, chamfer 0.001. There we go. Nice sharp. And then mesh smooth 1, 2. Collapse all. And there is the box that's going to be basically where the axle goes through for this thing. No, we don't. No, we need to. Okay, but it's going to be kind of small wheels because they can't. It doesn't want to be in the way of the arms. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the actual outer portion of the wagon wheel first. We're using the tube primitive. We're going to put it about here. About there. It's going to be kind of thick because, you know, it's an orky thing, so it needs to be kind of durable. Bring it, lower it to about there. And bring it out to about there. Okay. Yes, there's kind of small wheels, but oh well. We're going to reduce the number of height segments to 1 and the number of sides to 12. Actually, no, we're changing the height segments to 3. I'll show you why in just a minute. And the sides are going to 16. Edible poly. Okay, now we're going to select these 4 sets of edges, loop, and chamfer 0.01. Okay. Now we're going to edit, clone, copy. Okay. Now we're going to select on this copy these, delete them, and then we're going to select the outer one and delete it. And then just to make things easy, we're going to hide everything that's not currently selected. Then we're going to just select every other polygon on the outer rim of the wheel and delete. We're then going to change the color, just to make this easier to see, to this bright green. Now we're going to unhide everything. We're going to take the wheel and we're going to mesh smooth once, twice. Collapse all. Now we select our green bits, we're going to push them a little bit back in, and we're going to do we're going to add what's called a shell modifier. Now the shell modifier keeps a solid object, but lets us give it a thickness, and we're going to push it in, and it's going to start to overlap quite a bit here, but we want it to. Collapse all. We then are going to select everything that's on the inside here, and we got to make it edible poly, and then shrink the selection so we only have these. Now what are we going to do with these? We're going to shrink them. Now the last thing is we're going to select all of the edges that are going around the sides, and we're going to connect to 99, and then we mesh smooth it once or twice. Collapse all, and looking at it, we can make those spokes a little bit thicker, and we're going to do that. That's the easy way. We're going to use push. Collapse all. Yeah, that is our spokes and wheel. We now need to make the actual axle and the hub that those spokes are connected to. Actually, the questionable point becomes the arbalest. A crossbow very often was simply a bow stuck to the front of a stick, but usually made shorter and thicker and stronger. A crossed bow often had metal arms instead of wood. A ballista, as you can see, the arms are not a solid piece. Instead, they're using the tension of ropes around the shaft that the arms pivot on to provide the springiness. It's stretching the ropes when you pull it back, and then the ropes unstretch and it fires off the projectile. The arbalest is a large crossbow, but it uses the ballista style of launching and firing. Now the center for this, so I can make my shaft and hubs. Actually, let's go ahead and attach the wheels. Yeah, and let's also make this more of a dark brown. There we go. That's a nice chocolate. Ooh, chocolate. Effect pivot. And move that pivot to 0, and we're going to mirror it, copy, reset selected, and hit normal, because alright, some of you may not have heard me explain this. When in 3D Studio Max, when you create a mirror of an object, it doesn't just make a duplicate but backwards, it actually turns it inside out. So the surface of it, so to speak, is on the inside. By hitting normal, we flip that back to normal. So that's our the wheels are in position. Whoa, I just thought of something else we need to do. I need to select here. I need to select this tail edge here, and I need to go to soft selection. Use soft selection, pinch of 0.333 and bubble of 0.333. What that does if you look down here, this curve is now a perfect little pyramid. What we need to do is we need to get that, so the light blue, the barely selected portions are up to about there. There. And we need to first lock soft selection, and then we need to taper it. Oh, wait a minute, no. That's right. Unlock soft selection. I'll worry about this in a minute. I had to select it all. Now I taper. And we only want to do it on that axis. Collapse all. Narrow them this way. Okay, perfect. Then select them again. And now I go to use soft selection. Once again, you can see, you might be able to see the arc here is a nice parabolic curve. We want that to be as flat as possible. And then be... And then we're going to go to the back viewpoint here and pull this up to the top. There. That way, when it lays that tail end down, it can lay down a little bit flatter. All right, now back to what we were doing, and that's the axle. We can go ahead and get rid of the orc. He was only there so that I can make sure to make it not too big or too small. Now, the X and Y of this are what's going to be important for making this axle. Okay? And the, well, not the X, the Y and Z. The Y is 23 point, let's make that 23.45. And 7.94. Now, I'm going to go to cylinder. We're going to make, actually we need to bring these up. Because we need to make sure that center goes through the... Okay, now once again we're going to mirror it. And reset transform and normal. Collapse all. Now we go back to cylinder. Go out all the way to past the edge of the wheel. Okay, and we also need to make sure this goes back to front view. Now, we're going to collapse to edible poly. We're going to select this inner set of polygons and delete them. Now, we're going to select the edges and connect. I'm going to bring it over to dead center right there. Well, not quite dead center. Let's bring this out and just kind of get it about there. Okay. Now we're going to chamfer it. And what do you know? 1 is almost perfect. We need it a little bit less than that, about there. Okay. We're going to chamfer it again, but a lot less. Okay. Now, select here and here, and we're going to widen them. Now, we select these polygons and these polygons, and we're going to extrude them by local normal. And that's going to give us the hubs for these wheels. Okay, close that. As you can see, we now have hubs for the wheels. Yay! So what we're going to do now is we're going to mirror it. Copy. But because we are going to immediately attach it and weld vertexes here in the center, weld, then we're going to select the edge, the border edges where the two meet, and hit Control Backspace. That removes them. We don't need to worry about doing the usual reset, transform, etc. Now we're going to select here and loop. And we've selected all of these edges. Chamfer at 0.001 and 2 times. Okay, now last thing to do is select here. We connect two segments at center and just widen them out until they get really close. There, that's good. Mesh smooth 1, 2. Collapse all. So right now this is the current state of the Ballistae. There's a lot of detail work that can easily be done. And we also don't have our big old javelin-y thingy in, excuse me, hiccups, in position. Now, see you later, Robin. Oh, pardon me, I'm scratching my wrist. Alright. And I don't even remember what song I was singing, Mark. Now, when we export, these are going to be separate pieces, by the way. Also, let's go ahead and take the string. We're going to select here, and we're going to use soft selection with the 0.333 and the 0.333 and extend it, because we need to bring this up just a little bit so it's only partially embedded in the geometry of the bow itself. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put on a reinforcement portion onto this, and we're going to do it in a way I should have done before, but We're going to select right here. We're going to extrude local normal, not that big. Just about there. Editable poly. I forgot to click the OK. Yeah, there we go. Now, we're going to select here and here. We're going to loop. Before we loop, we're hitting smooth for one smoothing group, collapse all. We're going to chamfer .001, 2, 3. Okay. V. This does mean that there is a bit underneath. Okay. The only major geometry left to make at this point in time is a the shield that's going to be sculpted into kind of demonic face, and the projectile itself. The projectile, we can actually go in, File, Import, and we're going to actually go in and get from the props directory. No, we need to do it from the goblins. So, goblins, props. Where is it? Spear, was it Spear 1, I think? No, that's not the one. Spear 2. File, Import, Spear 2. Import. Okay. We actually move this X of 0. Bring it up to about there. And then drag it out to about there. And this is our raw geometry for the majority of the ballista. Actually, it needs to come up a little bit. This does. There we go. That is our ballista's basic geometry, barring the demonic face shield. Okay, so we need to make the face shield. And it's simply going to be a block that fits on the front with a gap for the ballista, for the bolt itself. Something that the crew can hide behind while they fire. So we're gonna make it out of a box. We're gonna make it out of a box. Yes. We're gonna make it right here. Come up that far. And it's going to be too wide. Yeah. And edible poly. We actually have to bring it up a bit so that there's room for the bolt. And then we're going to select the bottom down here and extrude down. And bring that over. Then we're going to select here, deselect that, delete, and mirror, copy, attach here, and weld vertexes. Now we're going to select both here and give it a single connect. Then these vertexes we're going to pull back a little bit and bend out a little bit like that. And then these we're going to bend just a little bit. Now we have the front shield on the ballista. We're going to select certain aspects of it and loop. Yeah, I selected too many. Loop, and then here and here, and we're going to chamfer 0.01, and now we mesh smooth it. 1, 2, and we have the shield ready. Collapse all. That's going to end up getting dynameshed so that we can make it a bit more interesting shape than just a box. So this is the pieces of our ballista. We made them in right under an hour. When it's done, it will be tilted so it's resting on the wheels and the back of the tread. And we're probably going to add on a bit of a base with like tufts of grass hiding some of the seams. But yeah, that is a basic ballista. That is a 3-man ballista. Wrong one. Alright, what we're going to do, we're going to select each individual piece and export it separately. File, export selected, wavefront OBJ. Actually, no, we need to, not each and every piece per se, but the majority of parts. Alright, that. File, export selected, meshes, or cord, War Machines, Ballista. And this is OBJ format, mainframe, export, done. This will be the arms, file, export selected, arms, wheels, and those, file, export selected, ropes, file, export selected, axle, file, export selected, shield, export, and bolt. We're just going to call it a bolt. Export selected, bolt. Okay, and then we cut over to ZBrush. Sorry about this. I forgot to set it up before the broadcast. I thought I had done it. Okay, import. Meshes. Or cord. War Machines. Ballistae. We're going to start with the mainframe. Draw it in. This will give us our best... stop the hiccups, dang it. Our best scaling bit. And then we're going to start appending the other bits. Let's go ahead and let's do them in order. Arms, append, import, axle, append, import, bolt, append, import, ropes, append, import, shield, Append import wheels. Now, if we were making this for like an epic scale game, this can any of y'all tell me what I seem to have forgotten? I can always throw it in, and I can always add it in later. But for right now, there's one thing I really seem to have forgotten. The hook for the rope. Now, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to hide everything but the rope part. I'm going to mask off those. And then I'm going to use deformation, offset Z, and pull it back a bit. Then I'm going to shoe this little fuzz bucket. Sorry, I had a cat. Go to rope. And oh, that's way too big. No, no. Shrink, 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 shrink. And that's about the size that we want it to be. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of straighten this up a bit. And then we're going to come back up. Oh, hell. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and make the frame visible and the arms. Okay, it is not going into the arms. Okay, I know what we're going to do from here. Well, first of all, we're going to need to split unmasked. Well, we need to make the we need to split unmasked parts. Hide the frame again for a second. And then split unmasked parts again. And this one is getting deleted. Okay. Now we're hitting X on the rope so that it's X symmetry. We're going to hit that button so it remembers sizes, and we're going to move, making it really big. Grab here and move it into the arm. Grab here and move it back. Well, we need it bigger. Back to there. There. Okay. Now we actually have a rope that looks like a rope. What a miracle, huh? We're not going to be able to do that with these, but frame, zoom out. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use the rope brush again on the arms. Ralph? No. No, little buddy. Down you go. Shoot. We're going to zoom in a little bit. And we're going to start drawing on the rope around. Well, I was going to try and draw, transparent. We're going to start drawing the rope around this. Let's see what happens if I X. Okay. And then okay, then we're going to move this over a little bit. Uh-oh. That didn't do good. Nope. Control Z. Okay, we're going to split unmasked parts. Click. And then we're going to use the move tool again, but we're going to use move topological and not quite as big. And I'm going to kind of move it over this way. Then we're going to turn off transparency so we can make sure that we are pulling this in the right directions. And we're going to pull it out to there and down to there. Okay, then we're going to add on, no, not groom clumps, we need the, there it is, our knot. And 0. We're going to add that onto here. We're going to do it until the rope's about the right size. Then we're going to use move tool. Oh, we need this on the regular move tool because I keep forgetting this is actually two separate. Oh, whoa, way too big. There we go. So you need to kind of bring it over and just make it a mess. Okay. Now we frame out, and yeah, that's pretty good. That'll do. Now once again, let's make everything visible so we can take a good look at it all. And just by changing those ropes, it looks a lot better. Now, what's going to happen over the course of the rest of the sculpting of this is I'm going ahead here. I am going to subdivide it until it's a couple 100,000 polys. I'll make it more than a couple. And then I'm going to dynamesh at 128. And then go down to deformation and give it 5 polishes. Yeah. Then I'm going to end up using, various sculpting techniques to turn this into some kind of demonic face or something. We're going to start off, let's make sure that's symmetrical. X. Yes, a lot of this will be symmetrical. You notice we did not make the rope symmetrical. Make this a bit bigger. Grab the front of it and pull out. And that includes here, pull out. Grab the sides, pull back. There we go. And then a little bit up here to smooth that. That is just a basic shaping that we've done, and that's already done a lot. The problem is it's not really, we need to pull it back as a whole to kind of blend the whole thing a bit further back into the wooden arms when it comes time. Because we want as much overlap as possible so that it's a solid piece and not like pieces that'll just have a thin gap and it'll fall apart. Okay. It is 9:15. Is anyone still watching? Ha! Mark and Largash were. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it just a small amount of that, and we're going to use the clay buildup brush with the round alpha, and I'm going to start making it into a rather mean looking face. Okay. And what we're going to do with this is shrink this down first. I'm going to just kind of make this into the brow area. Oh wait, before I do this, I want to go to auto masking and turn backface masking on. More intense, yeah. Give it a little bit of a feel there. Okay. Now, coming down from here, we're going to make it and we're going to kind of bring this out a little bit as like a little, the jaw area. And smooth that out. That just gives us our basic overall shaping. Now let's subdivide it a little bit more. And we're going to smooth out here. Increase the smoothing strength a little. And now we're going to slash. And from here we're going to stroke and lazy mouse off, reduce the strength quite a bit. And we're going to dig in a couple of these areas. Bring that smooth back up to 100. Yeah, there we go. Move these out a little bit. And just a bit of smoothing here. And then we're going to inflate. We're going to kind of inflate where the eye is. And a little bit of smoothing. And there's our face shield. We're going to do one other thing. We're going to grab with snake hook. We're going to make it bigger. We're going to grab the corner and kind of pull it back like that. That it could be horns or whatever. We're also going to use the move topological tool, a little bit bigger, and pull this back onto the box just to make sure that we've got it overlapping. And the same thing over here. We want to make sure it's overlapping completely into the boxes, because that'll help make it an easier print. Okay. Now the majority of the detail left is wood grain. Scratch my head. And so what we're going to do with that is we're actually going to go back. The frame and the arms themselves are about to get replaced. Mark Moore, you're working on Boar Rider. How's it coming? Assembling pieces, or are you actually like printing it now? Meanwhile, I'm opening up UV layout. I'm going to load War Machines Ballistae mainframe. Okay. I'm going to do this very simply. Okay. No. Okay. Actually, yeah. Actually, no. We need to do this elsewhere. What we need to do, we need to go back to 3D Studio Max. I'll show you why. Import. War Machines. Ballista mainframe. Do not import as a single mesh. Okay, now I'm going to select this one. We're going to zoom in and grow, 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 grow. And yeah, now we're going to detach. Okay. And then we're going to select one edge. Well, we're going to select one edge on the bottom. Let's say right here. Okay, and it's going to be both of these two. Loop. Z. Okay, not enough. Okay, then it's going to be both of those two. Loop. Bring. Now the reason why I'm actually cutting off the entirety of the bottom like this is that with this fold on the sides, it will warp the end result if I don't on the UV mapping, because it will try to bend to flatten everything properly. Okay. Split. That's what I need. Okay, now that's that. We're going to here now. Ching. Hold up. What are you doing, baby girl? Besides giving me kitty kiss on the nose. Knees on me. Okay. So what we're going to do here is something similar to what we just did over there. Select. Oh. There we go. Grow, grow, grow. Grow, grow, grow. And let's invert and detach. And now we select these two edges, front and back, loop, Z, split, and did it? No, it didn't. Oh, it went the wrong way. Edit, undo split edges. Ah, that's why. That's what happened. Nope, that's not what we're going to do. I'm going to select here, loop. Okay, ended there. Now we're going to select here. Yeah, because of the corner here. And then we're going to have to sit here and select individual polygons or individual edges, polygon edges, so that we can get this cut properly front and back. forgot to select these all again because, yeah. I just selected a whole bunch I couldn't see and didn't want to. Okay. Okay, and now we split, and yeah, just the bottom, good. This one, the one on the bottom here, we don't have to worry about as much because being an almost perfect rectangle, it just needs a single edge cut, which we're going to make one of the edges in the back bottom. Let's zoom in like this. And we're going to select that edge right there and loop, and it goes all the way across. Split. Okay. Now what we're going to do, for bookkeeping reasons, so to speak, we're going to attach this to that and that and this. Okay, good. Now we're going to deselect that. We're going to grab this one and we're going to attach these sides. You'll notice what this does is the ends are now yellow and the lengthwise is now pink. Everything that is yellow is going to have a face-on wood grain, you know, the rings, and everything that's pink will have the linear grain. So, now select it. Now, export selected, mainframe. Export. Done. Now we're going to reopen the UV layout. Load. Or cord. War Machines. Ballistae. Mainframe. One thing you'll notice now is that there's blue lines everywhere we made those cuts. This is what we want. So now we're going to hit D, and it's going to open up. If we click and drag with the left mouse button, it'll drop them all into UV space, this area. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit F and drag across. It gives them a brief flatten, and then optimize. 10, run for 10. Wow. Yeah, psychedelic, man. A lot of these we're going to end up redoing completely. Now, UV mapping like this, using this program, is what I normally do. You can use almost any other program to do this. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have everything actually properly balanced out. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's the back of this. Okay, what we're going to do then, let me go ahead and hit Shift F to flatten this, make it a little bit more even. Okay, that's the bottom and that's the top. We want to make these horizontal. The reason being, and the reason being for that is that we want all of the grain going horizontal. Now, we're going to rotate and align to axes. And we're going to pack. Best. Pack all. Now, that didn't seem to take a lot of time, but we're going to have to take all of these smaller ones out. And one thing is, this also keeps the same scale between these 5 shells. These individual parts are called shells. We're just going to go overlay all of this on top of each other. Once again, to try and maintain the same scale. And we're going to select and make them bigger until they're very nearly filling that space. Okay. And then we're just going to close, optimize, and pack. And save all. Save as mainframe. Dismiss that. Opening up another program called UV Mapper. It's just because it's easier for me to deal with. Open. Instead of Trebuchet, we're going to Ballista. Mainframe. Okay. No, I do not want to correct it. Now, tools, vertices, weld. That closes all those gaps we made just then with all this. Now we're going to zoom out. And we're going to select Object 01. Okay, nope, so it's going to be Box 01. And then select Assign UVs, and we're going to turn the U from 1 point whatever to 0 point whatever. And that moves them all right there. And so now we're going to save. We want to make sure that we are exporting UV coordinates. We don't need the regions. We don't need to compress anything. We don't need to export normals. So we click OK. And resave. Yes. It's 9:38. We've got enough time for me to do this for the mainframe. I'll do it for the arms later. Alright, so now on the subtool, we select the mainframe and we import mainframe. You won't see much difference at first. Now we go to geometry. We're going to subdivide until it's close to 2.5. Delete lower. Frame. And now we're going to do what we did to the trebuchet. We go to surface, noise, UV, alpha, and we go back up here to anything more. I put it into free sculpt alphas. Yeah, it's in alphas. Okay, and that's horizontal wood. We are turning mix basic noise to 0. So all we have is this noise, and we're going to increase the strength. I'm going to shrink the scale a bit, about there. Yeah. And we're going to click OK. We're then going to click Mask by Noise. And we're then going to Masking Inverse. We're going to select that group and mask all of it. And now only the horizontal areas will be affected by what we're about to do. Go to deformation and we're going to deflate a little bit. And then deselect. We have wood. We have a wood grain look on those pieces. We're going to hide everything else for what we're about to do, just make it easier to see. And frame. Now we're going to, well, actually we need to zoom out a bit for this. And now we're going to do it again. We're going back to surface. We're going to go to edit, alpha scale to 1, alpha on or off, and we're going to select the horizontal wood rings. And click OK. Then we're going to select mask by noise, select this, mask it, and now under deformation we're going to deflate it. Okay, and there we go. Now we're going to give it one layer of polish. Oh, that was too much. No. We're gonna give it. We're gonna do it from Dynamesh. Dynamesh of 1600. Okay, frame out. And that is our very clearly wood frame for our ballista. The same thing will be done to the arms. It doesn't have to be done for the shaft of the bolt, simply because the bolt could be, polished, or it could be an iron bolt. We're not going to do it for the wheels, because the wheels likewise could be made of some other material, or could be more polished and sanded than the rough-hewn wooden logs used to make the ballista's frame. Hey, TJ. So what do you think of the ballista so far? To give you an idea, a typical orc head would be about just below the top of this ear. So it's not as big as the trebuchet was. It is incomplete, but so let's see. Just to show you what it'll look like when it's finished and tilted, this is the angle it's going to be at when it's finished and tilted. Choing. But yeah, that is well, except for the latch we need to put here. This is the ballista. We also need to put on a few other things, like a few bolts here and there. But it's 9:45, so I'm going to save as, and in the Orc Horde War Machines Ballista, I'm going to call it Basic Ballista. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go back to here. Whee! Now, I gotta tell y'all what happened last night last night. I had to go to, no, not last night. It was Monday night. I had to go to Panera Bread to get something for Mom. I know. Anyway, so made the order, went to go stand to wait for the order. Standing next to me was this woman, looked to be in her early to mid-30s. Big, poofy blonde hairdo that was kind of high-topped, the poof. badly bleached, with inch-long roots, overly large sunglasses where only the top half of the glass was smoked, yoga pants, and a resting bitch face. And the only thing I could think of was, and it was all running through my head. I never said it, but it's running over and over through my head until she left. Crikey! It's a wild Karen in a natural habitat, Panera bread. Let's see if she makes a mating cry. It sounds something like this. I want to talk to your manager. I want to talk to your manager. Hello, Carlton. Oh. Yeah, an encounter with a Karen in the wild. Sweet little kitty. But yeah, I'd say that's about 70% done on the Ballista. And the bolt that it was firing is the same as one of the spear types for the goblins. Yes. What are you doing? Come on. Are you telling me it's bedtime? Yeah, he is. Go on. Alright, I won't hate on Panera, but I'll hate on Karen's. I want to talk to your manager. Why? Why? If you're going out to eat, or to go shopping, or to do something, with the thing in the back of the mind, if it's not perfect, I'm going to talk to their manager. Why? It takes so much less effort and so much less stress just to be nice. I mean, I go out to eat. I'm nice. I'm polite to the waitress or waiter. And on occasion, even pass on compliments to the manager about the waiter or waitstaff if they're really good, about the chef if the food was really good. And you know what happens to me? I get better service. If I become a regular somewhere, they end up doing things like, not charging for my drinks. And by drinks, I mean like Coke, not alcohol. And on more than one occasion, I've been out somewhere on like my birthday or something like that, or even on Veterans Day, and I've had a manager go, "Oh, don't worry, we got it." So, I mean, if it takes less effort, you get better service, and stuff like that happens, why constantly complain? Some people want to complain. See, if you want to complain, do what I do. Don't complain to the people that you're dealing with, because that's not what you're really wanting to complain about. Complain about things. If you're just wanting to complain about things that no one around you has any control over, so that you can just vent and get it all out. If there's something wrong with your food, be polite about it, and it's easy, and you get taken care of. You complain, and you wait 3 times as long to get your replacement food or whatever. Oh no. I've seen what happens. Table next, I forget where I was. It was a restaurant. I've only been there once. But the table next to me complained about their food, and I made a comment about mine. I got my replacement meal like 15 minutes before the other table did. The complaining doesn't get better results. They think it does. Hogpod? See, I don't know about bars, but in restaurants, the chefs don't give a fuck. They just don't give a fuck. And they'll be like, they want me to recook it because they don't like it? Fuck them. They're last in line. Oh, so he liked it, it was just a small part, it was just wrong. Okay. Well, he's a nice guy. Let's go ahead and take care of him. Here, send that back out. You know. That's what it was like in like the kitchens of the restaurants and that. And in retail establishments, I mean, I've got a friend of mine who's manager of the women's department at the local Target, and she'll have women come up and complain that this company's size 4 isn't exactly the same as this company's size 4. And there's nothing they can do about that. That's the company's. And this woman is telling her, as a single department manager, not even a full store manager or assistant manager, that she needs to go to these clothing companies and tell them they need to get their sizes straight. What the hell is that going to do besides frustrate and anger the poor person you're yelling at? It's like if you're on a 1-lane road and there's one person way up there doing 30 and a 40 and you're 8 cars back. Tailgating the guy in front of you isn't going to do diddly. Ow. That was my knuckle on the table. Anyway. So yeah. Karens. Fuck them. It was somebody else's dick. Well, it is 9:52. So I'm going to go ahead and do my usual good night shtick. Sometime within the next day or so, alright, I've sent off all of the paperwork and emails and things for the backers, and except for the 10 that never did send back their surveys. 10. 2.5%, yay. But as soon as I finish getting the goblins resculpted, and as soon as I get the war machines finished sculpting, and just to give you a clue, the war machines are not going to include roadie roads or any Iron Man technology. Not that kind of war machine. And I am doing a lot of it off camera. I'm only doing the Ballistae and Trebuchet on camera. I might do the chariot. Now, the two chariots will be very similar. The only difference is I'll scale it down and have wolves for the goblin. And of course, room for a goblin on the base, and the rider. The driver will be built into the chariot. Anyway, so good night, everyone. I will see you all Sunday afternoon, at least by U.S. Central Time, and that will be the whole usual, hold up my hand and go wiggly wiggly gnarf, bye bye, there goes the finger, and good night. So there's going to be stop hiccups. That's going to be a 5. A 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1. War Machine is too simple a name to be a superhero name, in my opinion. But I'm often wrong.